Today is one of the biggest days of draft season, and it's Mel Kiper's first mock draft, the 1.0. And you know we've been covering these mock drafts. We've been mocking the mock drafts and doing rankings all off season long. And Mel Kiper's is the one we always do. It's the granddaddy of them all. If you're new to the channel, what we do is we go to the mock draft real quick, and then we rank these players in terms for Dynasty, fantasy football, in tiers afterwards. If that's something you like, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because we do this all off season long on top of all the other videos that we do all year. But I'm fired up for this one because it's the Mel mock. These are always kind of crazy starting off. Let me know in the comments while you're watching, what was your crazy pick that we went over today. But let's get to it. Let's get started. Let's look at this mock draft real quick before we jump into the rankings. But here we go. The 1.0 for Mel's mock right here, 2023. Let's get fired up for this one. We're going here to the Chicago Bears. No offense. Going here, no replacement for Justin Fields. And then at 2, Houston, CJ Stroud. I'm not reading all this. That's a lot of words there. CJ Stroud to Houston. He's either going to be the first or second quarterback selected. It's either him or Bryce Young. And I imagine this is a shakeup for him compared to all the other times Bryce Young was going to the Texans in every mock draft. He's probably going to flip and flop these guys all draft season. That is my bet from covering Mel's mock drafts from all these seasons. Imagine he's going to shake these guys up all season long. Going down here, after that, after Stroud, we're keeping on going. And bam, number 4 to the Colts. We got a new one here. Bryce Young to the Colts. Usually it's Will Levis. Bryce Young to the Colts. Very interesting. What I think about this is that he's got Jonathan Taylor to lean on. We got Michael Pittman there. Unless some weird trade happens, because we've heard the rumors. I don't really see that happening per se, but you know, it's the world of endless possibilities. Bryce Young to the Colts. Got some pieces there indoors. A lot of people talking about his size lately, but like I've been saying, this ain't the best quarterback class. We got a lot of deficit in this group of quarterbacks. All of them have it. Bryce Young's got some skills. Is he an elite guy like a Trevor Lawrence or anything like that? No. Is he a good quarterback? He's all right. He's a good prospect. You can't hate on him too much, but he's not a top-tier guy. He's a good quarterback. Same with CJ Stroud. Those are the top 2 consensus. Moving on down here, and I know some of you guys are going to hate on this one, because whenever someone gets mocked to Seattle, whether it's Stroud or anybody of these quarterbacks, I catch it in the comments, them not liking the pick from that mock draft. We got one here today with Will Levis going to Seattle. Let me hear about that one. He does have Kenneth Walker here to lean on. He does have DK Metcalf. Per se, a guy that throws it deep downfield, this could be a good fit for him. For a guy that is so ambiguous, this is a good spot for him. For him, doesn't mean it's going to be great for fantasy, but he could be all right. He could give you some Danny Dimes overall arcing fantasy value in Dynasty. Who knows? But with him going at 5, that makes him valuable and super flex. Whether you like it or not, you can't always fight the market. That's the one thing you can't do. Moving down, offense, defense. We don't cover those, but you get the free look. If you don't have ESPN Plus, go ahead and take a look. I have it because I like watching fights. I'm not going to lie. Plus, I got it in part of another package. But here at 9, Carolina going Anthony Richardson. We've seen this on a lot of mock drafts. This happens quite a bit in the mock drafts. Like I said, in my mock draft that I personally did for Dynasty, I look at Anthony Richardson. If he gets drafted kind of high, he's going kind of high in Dynasty rookie drafts for Superflex. If he falls, then he's going to fall. Here, he's going kind of high. He's going to move up the board. He's going to move up in value. I like that he's going to have DJ Moore to lean on. I know they're going to add pieces. They got a good running back selection here in this year's draft. Maybe we'll get more pieces that way. They're going to build around this. Maybe give him some time to develop. Let's see what happens. But him getting the draft capital gets him a leash to develop with, which is good to see. More defense, more offensive line, more defense. And here's the shocker. This is the shocker of the draft. We've had some mock drafts where Jaxon, Smith-Njigba didn't get drafted in the first round, and you guys have been left scratching your head. There was a couple of those. Here he goes to the Jets as the wide receiver 1. Interesting, getting paired with Garrett Wilson. That is a funny one. I've not had anyone drafting the Jets, a skilled player, in any of their mock drafts yet. This is the first one. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Garrett Wilson reuniting. What are they going to be doing at the quarterback position? What's this going to be looking long term? What do you think about this from a fantasy football perspective? But the wide receiver 1 almost top 10 draft capital. That kind of says something as it is for fantasy football relevancy. However, you don't like the landing spot, but it could be all right as well, especially if they start changing some stuff up. Breece Hall comes back healthy. You got Garrett Wilson there. You get a quarterback there. Maybe you land a vet. Maybe you land something good. Maybe there's a big change. We'll know later. Moving down. Michael Mayer at 15 to the Packers. We've seen this mocked a few times before. I think this is going to boost his value in Superflex, and it might boost it too high. I think mid-second, early second, late second, somewhere when the running backs start to dry up is when you want to look at this, especially him being at tight end. This isn't a knock on him. This is just playing fantasy football, and just go back. Look at the scoring week to week at tight end. Outside of those main top guys, it's ugly. It is ugly. Even if he's a good tight end in the league, even if he's one of the most productive tight ends in the league, still could be ugly. Still could be ugly from that format, and you're missing out on top tier value. I'm not pumping him up no matter really where he goes into the first round, because I don't want to have that missed opportunity cost of this running back class. But I will be more interested if he lands in the spot like Green Bay, Jacksonville, something like that. But no knock on him as a player. It's just that's how you got to play the position, because you can really just buy a veteran tight end on the cheap and get similar production, or buy Mayer next year after on a good discount as well. Coming in at 22 to the Baltimore Ravens, we got Quinten Johnston. And this is an interesting spot. This makes me like Rashad Bateman a little bit more. We got Quinten Johnston taking the top off, Rashad Bateman running short to intermediate. This kind of fills out the wide receiver depth chart really well. A lot of people are going to hate this spot due to the passing volume. Eventually that'll change. It depends on the tight end. A lot of targets going to the tight end. This makes things murky. His dynasty value will drop a little bit. You'll catch him at a discount. Moving down here a little bit farther to our next pick, and we'll look at that. Jordan Addison, wide receiver 3 in the first round to the Giants. I think this is a good spot. I think it's sneaky. And if he falls to the Giants, I think this is a good place for him, because they had some ancillary wide receivers make some production this year. They went off a little bit. Isaiah Hodgkins has been a name that's been lit up lately. Jordan Addison going here with the passing volume, with what's happening in New York, the shifting things. Wan'Dale Robinson's there. This could be a good spot for him. Could be sneaky, considering he will be the top dog there, have the potential. Plus, I feel like he's the safest wide receiver out of the 3. He's very nuanced, and he's got upside. Damn it, he got Kenny Pickett drafted. Damn it, he did that. If anything, Pittsburgh needs to do whatever they can to get him, because there's something with him and Kenny Pickett, and that's the one thing I want to think about. However, the Giants getting Jordan Addison here at this spot, I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be good. Moving down here, Bijan Robinson to the Dallas Cowboys. We've had this mocked a few times. I just can't see him really falling this far, but it could happen. But with him going to Dallas, I think this is a great spot. Tony Pollard's injury, getting that surgery, long-term being a free agent as well. Also, Zeke's done. He's done. They need to retool that position. There's other positions of need they got as well, so they could pivot from this. But if he falls in their lap at 26, they may just pull the trigger as well. I could see that happen. Dallas makes those moves sometimes, or they trade up to get him for Dynasty. You're not getting him out of the 101. This is a player that's not getting out of the 101. He could fall. He could plummet. He's not getting out of the 101. He is going to be locked in there. I think this even ignites a little bit of that flame. Makes him a little bit more valuable. He's going to get a lot of hype. A lot's going to happen. Here's a sneaky pick at 28. We got Dalton Kincaid. tight end from Utah. This is an interesting tight end. I don't know if you heard much about him, but there were a lot of weeks where he was leading all tight ends in college football in targets, was very productive this year, had a very good season, good receiving tight end, and going to Cincinnati, this is going to elevate his stock. Joe Burrow kind of makes the players go burr. The targets going to the tight ends is going to be very interesting because you got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, you got some stuff there. So fantasy value, it's going to be interesting. You may be able to catch him at a discount. I think I'd take the cheaper one between him and Mayer, honestly, and it'll probably be Kincaid. Because looking at that, a lot of people are hyped up for Mayer, and I think his price is going to be a little too high. You might be able to catch Kincaid at a little better discount. Might change if he goes to the Bengals. They said in this article they ranked 29th to the tight end. Kind of skeptic there because if you didn't have Jamar Chase, if you didn't have T. Higgins, you didn't have this great wide receiver unit, that might be upped a little bit, but at the same time, they still need to increase the talent level there, and getting Kincaid might help. Sleeper tight end, if you haven't heard of him, but he's also getting talked up a lot in the draft community, but a tight end that if he goes to a good situation could increase in value in rookie drafts as well. Let's finish this up. Here we go to the bottom. Zay Flowers to the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys have to forget about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You have to erase that from your memory. Erase Sky Moore too. The thing about those is that's going to create like a fallacy effect that's going to cause you to misinterpret some of these picks. The thing about Zay Flowers here, he's very sudden. He can get you yards after the catch. Plays bigger than his size and can make big plays happen. He's a very important wide receiver prospect in this class because he is a dangerous guy, and if he goes in the right situation, he could blossom. His value is going to increase. He's going to go up there with some of these wide receivers too, and that's something you're going to see. And eventually, one of these players that go to the Chiefs are going to hit coming to them through the draft. It's eventually going to happen. We'll wait for it. And if we ignore it, we're going to miss on that player. Zay Flowers' stock is rising. And him going the last part of the first round, I'm not surprised if he goes that part. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not one of the top wide receivers drafted in the second round as well. They also mentioned Jalen Hyatt here. I feel like Jalen Hyatt will be an air yards guy. So if he goes to a good situation, that will peak as well. I think Zay Flowers being a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more short area quickness type of guy, creating separation with route running and stuff. I feel like this could be a good spot for him. For the Chiefs, considering they need the production now and they need a guy ready to step in, fantasy-wise, his value is going to be boosted. It's going to be boosted big time. But let's roll over to the rankings. Let's see what we got here. Now we're over to the tier maker. We're going to rank these players in terms of Dynasty Fantasy Football, how they should be valued, how they will be valued. All that's going to be baked in. But let's get this cracking. We already know how things are going to start off. Bijan Robinson, tier S, the stud. It's just going to be in there. You can't drop him. He is so valuable right now in Dynasty. You can pretty much move him from damn near anything. If you want to add stuff to him, you can get Jamar Chase or something like that. You got to add stuff to him, though. But he's so valuable right now. He's a hot prospect. Some people got him as RB1. Some people got him in the RB5 range. Somewhere around there. That is high for the 101 pick in one QB. And he's up there with some of the top QBs as well in Superflex. So he's a guy you want to go after. He's a guy you got to have in that top tier. And we're doing these rankings as Superflex. If not, this would be really funky. So that being said, tier A is going to have the two top quarterbacks, the two top drafted. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. Flip him and flop him. Stroud going number 2 overall to the Texans. Stroud going to the Colts. Remember, these are tiers, so these guys kind of just go up and down with each other, and you just go with who you want in the tier. Stroud's probably in a good situation for him here with Jonathan Taylor, some veteran wide receivers. They're willing to invest in the skill position that we saw in recent years in drafts. So both quarterbacks here, interesting spots. And then tier B is very interesting. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. Richardson intrigues me. He jumps up higher for me in a spot like this. You can really put him in tier A, but I really want them split apart from each other, the tier A quarterbacks and the tier B quarterbacks, because I think there's a little bit of difference here. But also the top wide receivers. One, Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I don't like the landing spot as much, but I do like the draft capital being 13th overall, first wide receiver off the board, and we are also have him previously regarded as a talented wide receiver, so that checks the boxes. Then we got Jordan Addison, We have him as the safest wide receiver prospect, and he's going to a good situation, a little bit lower in the draft, a little bit lower draft pedigree here than compared to Njigba. You can flip and flop these guys. I don't care. I'm just saying they're good. Same thing with these guys. Flip them, flop them. Just do what you want here. You can move them here. You can do whatever. But they're in the tier. This is how I got it. And I don't hate Quinten Johnston. I don't really hate the Ravens offense that much. But his value will be driven down. And this is later in the draft. It's the back half of the first round as well. So it doesn't have that top tier draft capital like Jaxon Smith-Njigba got. So you have to pull that in there with the value. If the Ravens took him at 9, at 10, I'd move him up to tier B. That did not happen here. They're in the 20s. We're going to keep him in tier C. Same with Zay Flowers. We're not going over Moon. We're not throwing him up here because he went to the Chiefs. We're going to keep the pandemonium down. I like Zay Flowers, but I don't like him as much as the next guy. I'm not super high on him. I like him. He is what he is. He's not like a super stud or anything. So him going to the Chiefs, that's cool and all. Him and Quinten Johnston, flip and flop him, do what you want. I regard Johnston up with the other two wide receivers, Addison and Jaxon Smith-Njigba, and talent-wise, the situation, draft capital here affects things a little bit. Tier D, the tight ends. They're tight ends. You can flip and flop them. I like Kincaid with the Bengals. I'm very interested with that. I think when you look at receiving chops, they're not too far off with each other. I don't not know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers long term. I feel like anybody goes to Green Bay, their value shoots up, catches on fire, goes everywhere. Same thing's going to happen to Kincaid. You're catching them in the middle of second round, Superflex rookie drafts, latter part of second round, Superflex rookie drafts. But it could go higher because that's how the market does with tight ends. Because tight ends so scarce that it gets chased like a mythical unicorn. The thing is that's sometimes you want to stay away from because you can patch that up for cheap and get similar production. And the young tight ends, they take a couple years to develop. You can always catch them year 2, year 3 a little cheaper, or maybe second round rookie pick, third round rookie pick as they start to develop. And you know what? You got your player. You got him, and now you got him at a discount. Wherein these guys are playing late first round rookie picks, early second round rookie picks. So when the price goes up, you want to back out. When the price is down a little bit, could happen with the running back infusion of this year's class. Could happen. I don't really see it in this scenario. But you just got to watch the market. You buy them when the market's scared, and you stay away from them when the market wants them, because that's going to drive up the price. That's one thing you want to look at. If everybody likes them, if everybody's loving them, stay away. If everyone's kind of tepid of them and the price drops, that's when you want to go in on them, because they're going to drop in ADP. They're going to be a more affordable, better investment per the tight end position. And again, you're chasing talent. You're not chasing situation. Situation doesn't always drive the wide receiver, tight end, or running back. We've seen this recently. Always chase talent over situation. Same thing with tight ends here. You want to do that as well. Follow the market. The market's going to tell you what to do. Buy when there's blood in the streets. Sell when everybody's craving it. That's how you want to do it. But that's it with this mock draft. With this Mel Kiper mock, we got a lot of doozies here. We got a lot of good stuff too. A little bit different. We always need something different when it comes to these mocks. They can't be the same, or we're just saying the same stuff over and over. Let me know in the comments below what you liked, what you hated. I want to hear about it. Also, smash that subscribe button, because I'm coming hot with content, helping you with your Dynasty teams, giving you things a little different. A lot of other websites are going, hey, my top 5 guys, top 4 guys. Nah, we're doing stuff like this. We got some other things coming. I got some stuff cooking. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out. Don't be a loser. I want to thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.